Hey everyone, and welcome to another Game Explained discussion. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined today by John Cartwright to discuss the new trailer for Pokémon Sword and Shield that revealed Galarian Forms, Galarian Form Evolutions, and the new Evil Team along with some new characters. So let's get right into it. And I even left something out there, John, because the Japanese trailer revealed even more with this whole Poké Jobs thing that they only covered on the website on the US side, but for some reason did not include that in the US trailer.
Yeah, super weird. We were watching the original trailer, and all of a sudden the Japanese one came up, and it was a minute extra in length. And like, what on earth could this be? And there's this huge element that they just skipped on the American trailer for whatever reason, and it looks kind of cool. Though, I'll be honest, when I first saw it, I thought it was a Pokemon Quest tie-in, because the art style in the background is like this weird, super blocky, colourful area. Thankfully, though, it's not Pokemon Quest.
Yeah, it's something else. I immediately thought of what was the system in Smash Brothers where you send out your spirits in order to do jobs and come back with special things. And, you know, that's not entirely wrong. It's basically the different jobs will help them boost certain things. So, like, they have an example here in the on the website where help wanted, construction needs power, power means muscles, please send Pokemon with big muscles. They want up to 7 and you'll get experience for those Pokemon. So this might be a good way to level up the Pokemon in your box if you want to have backups and just use this system and maybe get other stuff. But it looks like the only reward you get, at least based on what we see from these screenshots, is experience.
Do you know what this really reminds me of? This reminds me of the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 jobs where you can send your blades on missions.
Right. Oh man, I forgot all about that aspect, but yeah, it's pretty much that. The thing is, I'm not sure what else it gets you other than experience.
Right, but I guess, it's not too dissimilar to like a daycare, just makes it a bit more involved. Because with daycares, you can just leave your Pokemon with them and then not think about them until like the end of the game and then come back and get them. Whereas this has a bit more, not necessarily strategy, but a bit more involvement than that.
Yeah, and it's also a lot easier to access because there's this new PC called the Rotomi, apparently. I think that's how you pronounce it. Where it's at each Pokemon Center, and this is how you access it along with a bunch of other features that they haven't revealed yet. And so it's really easy to just send them out. When you come back to the Pokemon Center, check the Rotomi, see how they're doing, and then move on. It's kind of a constant thing to actually, check it.
Yeah, and like with daycares, you always have to like memorize the town it's in, memorize the route. Whereas with this, you can just do it anywhere from any Pokemon Center. So this kind of sounds like a step forward. Though I guess we don't know necessarily if daycares are gone. Like, we don't know if this is replacing them. But it sounds like it pretty much has the same function.
Kind of the same function. The big thing is I don't see this breeding unless breeding is also available through this system. And that would actually be interesting. If you can send multiple Pokemon to this system in order to take care of jobs, who knows? Maybe you can actually breed multiple Pokemon at once.
If you send Pokemon on jobs and they come back with having bread, like that's kind of they're kind of slacking on the job there.
What were you guys working on? Oh, that's a little freaky. It's like no, you're paid to work. Oh gosh, but I gotta say, overall, this is a pretty standard Pokemon trailer. This is exactly what you saw from Pokemon Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, where they're just introducing new stuff, little quick snippet of it, and there you go. There's the new stuff. But the new things I'm seeing here are really exciting. For one, we have forms back, specifically regional forms. And we got Galarian Forms for Wheezing and the Zigzagoon line, which already that makes me excited because it's not just Gen 1 this time. The other gens get some forms.
Also, I love their interpretation of what Britain is like. With Wheezing, of course, they've just given him a giant top hat, which also doubles as a chimney. And with Zigzagoon, I think they've coloured it after a badger, with like the black and white colour scheme. So I think they're trying to mimic the like a more British animal. But Wheezing in particular, that's just the best interpretation you could possibly have.
I love this Wheezing. I've been ambivalent to Wheezing for most of my time, but just the look of Wheezing being this old man with a top hat, because one has a like traditional mustache and the other one has like a beard and thick eyebrows. I'm like, that is so beautiful. In fact, that's, if I didn't know what you actually looked like, John, I would assume it was this.
That's pretty much how it looked like before I shave, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Including the top hat.
And it's an interesting typing too. It's a poison fairy.
It's interesting to see that not only are they going after the Gen 1 crowd with these Galarian forms?
I think Galarian. I'm going with Galarian.
Okay, Galarian. But it's interesting to see they're not just going for Gen 1 with these Galarian forms, but also other generations with Zigzagoon, whereas Alolan forms were literally just Gen 1. Now, we haven't seen that many so far, I think it's just the 2, but it's great that one of them is Gen 3.
Yeah, that's really cool, and they also did something that I did not expect. They gave Zigzagoon, or I guess Linoon, a new evolution. It only had those 2 forms before in Gen 3, and now we got something completely new with Obstagoon. And I love this idea. It's a new way to get evolutions in there, and they make sense within the world. Why didn't Linoon evolve otherwise? Well, I can't see Linoon becoming an Obstagoon, normally. But the new Linoon going this way? Yeah, that's a badger. Just looking at it more.
Yeah, I love it too. It makes me wonder though, any other evolutions, or any other evolutionary lines that didn't evolve in the past, will they just have Galarian forms, or will they also evolve? Like, Farfetch'd, for instance. There's a rumour going around that there's going to be a Galarian form, but do you think that Farfetch'd will actually evolve, or will just his Galarian form evolve?
Yeah, I believe you're talking about that one leak, and we're not going to go into that too far, just to say that that one thing from way back early on is pretty much on the nose with everything. So Good thing is we're almost definitely getting a Farfetch'd evolution. I'm not going to say anything more about it, but the other thing is we don't know if Farfetch'd also has a Galarian form and that's the evolution that it gets, which would make sense, or if it's or if it just naturally gets an evolution. We don't know how it's all involved, whether these old Pokemon get an evolution out. It makes sense to me that if Farfetch'd would get a Galarian form and then an evolution, just to sort of fit in with this and not have to really explain how Farfetch'd evolves. Unless they can always introduce new items. That's basically what they did with Gen 4. But I like the idea, and if it is a Galarian form, please be a good Galarian form for Farfetch'd.
It's still really cool though, like getting all these older Pokemon that haven't really had that much love in the past, and just giving them a bit more love. And especially just not tying it to Gen 1. Of course, Farfetch'd and Wheezing are both Gen 1 Pokemon, but I've got to assume that Galarian forms are going to span the entire Pokedex, which is a brilliant thing. I know people are a bit upset that some Pokemon have been cut, but I love that they're putting a bit more effort into some of these new designs. And every single new design in Sword and Shield so far, both human and Pokemon, have been so good.
Yeah, I'm looking throughout these designs, and I can't see a bad one at all. In fact, I think Zigzagoon's Galarian form might be a little bit cuter with just how his tongue's sticking out, Yeah,
a little bit more Corgi-like.
It's so good. And you're right about the human designs as well, because we got two more humans, actual rivals, and they're both a little different from what we've come to see before. Let's start with Bede, who is a rival that was sponsored by Chairman Rose. And apparently he has his own, he wants to become champion, but he also has his own goals in mind that are kind of mysterious. And I love his design because he is classic jerk rival. If he is actually like a complete jerk in this game, yes, thank you.
Yeah, it's been way too long since we've had a jerk rival. And just looking at him, he's clearly evil. And we've been saying this about Chairman Rose as well. And the connection between him and Chairman Rose just doubles down on Chairman Rose also likely being evil. But yeah, you're totally right. Both of these designs are great. And also with one of them, we also get the introduction of the evil team, being Team Yao. I'm still processing them, but to me they kind of seem like almost like football fans, I guess, just with giant horns roaming around, which of course is another kind of British thing. But they're also like fanboys and fangirls of another one of the new characters.
Yeah, Marnie. And that's really interesting because they are, like, Team Skull was, very much a punk back in Pokemon Sun and Moon. They were just disgruntled that they failed the Alolan Challenge. And just, what do we do with our lives? We suck. But this is a lot more focused, where they're just they're such big fans of this Marnie that they want to disrupt everyone else, which is an interesting commentary potentially on toxic fan bases. Like, because Marnie herself, to me, does not look evil, does not seem evil. She just, the scenes you see her in just kind of make her seem like, all right, I'll put up with these, I'll just put up with these people. But she's also described as she has calm, calculated battle strategies. So maybe she's just one of those people who just don't show a lot of emotions, and she's fine with these Team Yell hooligans. But either way, it's a unique thing to see them so focused on just a regular trainer rather than a big boss.
Yeah, I can see the story being really good with this, actually, because with most evil teams, they always have a big boss person. But in this case, the boss person might not even want to be a boss person. So maybe if her motives change across the story, it might even impact what the team do. Or maybe the team just don't care and they just want to please her, but they don't know how to. So yeah, this is going to have some... And you're right, this is basically a commentary on toxic fan bases. So it's going to be really cool to see how that plays out.
I love how these recent evil teams after Team Flare... Like, Team Flare was kind of a bust... compared to what we got in, I think it was Team Plasma Gen 5. But after Team Flare, we've gotten the commentaries on different aspects and seeing Pokemon's interpretations of them. And I love that aspect. And maybe I'm crazy. I'm really excited for this. I think this looks good. I think this looks fun. Yeah, I've seen some complaints online about some of the designs and some of the things, and there's the ever-present lack of the national decks. But if I ignore that aspect of it, which to me, I'm not even going to use that. I'm just here for the core Pokemon adventure, and what I'm seeing from this core Pokemon adventure is, yes, traditional, but a lot of cool potential things. I think that's why I'm excited.
And it is fair to call out parts that disappoint people. If you're not interested in, if you are interested in an aspect that isn't in the game, that's fine. That's fine for you to be disappointed by that. But I'm looking at the website right now. I'm looking at all these human designs. I love each and every single one of them. I love all the new Galar Pokemon and Galarian?
Yes, Galarian.
And all the other Galarian forms. I'll get it eventually. And just the region itself just looks really fun and great. And yeah, so while there are aspects that might disappoint people, I'm really into this, and I can't wait to see even more. And that's also another thing, is that I don't think this trailer really would have won over anyone who was disappointed by aspects of Sword and Shield, because it is just kind of showing you more Pokemon. It's not trying to show you why the games are bigger and better. And maybe we'll get that trailer down the line, but everything that's shown here so far, I'm really into.
Yeah, this is just a basic, hey, here's some more aspects of this game. Here's what you can expect from it, and enjoy. And I like that aspect. I mean, that's typical Pokemon. That's what I was expecting. It's also, these are far more spread out than they were previously. They used to come, it felt like every once a month. And they seem a little more spread out, or maybe I'm not noticing it as much this time. Maybe it was more often before. I can't tell, but my mind's filled with Pokemon from all those past analyses. But again, it's just, I don't know. I dig it. I understand why people are upset. I completely get it. But for my own personal enjoyment, this is looking cool.
Yeah, I mean, it just looks fun. And there's also actually one Pokemon we didn't talk about, which is a brand new one. Is it Morpeko, I believe it's called? How you pronounce it?
I believe it's Morpeko, yes.
Yeah, and this is basically this game's version of not Pikachu. And, it's like a smaller hamster version of Pikachu who can change form, which is really interesting.
Yes, it's really interesting. It's according to the website, they can also these. I guess more Pokemon will be able to do form changes, it seems, because of the effects of certain items or their own ability. And some of these form changes don't simply change the Pokemon's appearance, they also change the type of its moves or even change its abilities. So that's an interesting aspect of how it goes back and forth. And in the case of Morpeko here, he's an electric dark type, so I guess he can either be pure electric at times when he's nice and happy, or when he gets hangry, as the trailer puts it, he becomes a dark type. And I love how he's a hamster. One, that's a brilliant new choice of a rodent. Two, one of his moves uses a spinning wheel. Yes, that is awesome. I am so there for that. And 3, I think that's an interesting type makeup of electric and dark, especially for ostensibly your Pikachu-like Pokemon, I guess is the way I want to put that.
I want to Dynamax Morpeko. I want to see how big this guy gets. He looks great. We haven't really seen a Pokemon that's really this dynamic thus far. Like, most of the time, a new Pokemon basically is what it is. So it's cool to see a Pokemon that changes depending on how it's feeling. Like, we don't see that very often.
Mm-hmm. And he has little pockets. I love those.
Oh, I'm just seeing them now. Oh, that's so cute.
Mm-hmm. It's really wonderful, and I'm maybe I'm a sucker for it, but I'm just really enjoying what I'm seeing here, and I think this on its own merits, separated from the rest of the series, I think this will be a good game. It really seems like it.
One more point as well is with these new Galarian forms, we'll also be able to Gigantamax them as well. Some of them, I assume, which will give them new forms. So we'll have this Galarian Wheezing, and if we Gigantamax him, he's going to look even more different. So that's going to be really interesting to see too.
Yeah, I'm curious. I have a guess that if they have Galarian forms, they probably won't be able to Gigantamax. They'll, but Dynamax, of course, but Gigantamax, no. So it's a way to spread out. I think Gigantamaxing, if I had to make a prediction, will be exclusive to the new Gen 8 Pokemon, while all the form changes stuff will be for all the I can't even say that thanks to Morpeko here, but all of the Galarian form stuff will be for past Pokemon, which makes sense because that has to be, you can't have a Galarian form for a new Galarian Pokemon. That is the Galarian form. So, but what I basically mean by that is that returning Pokemon probably won't have Gigantamaxing ability outside of maybe a few. But,
looking at all the content that's on the table here, we have all these new Pokemon, we have Galarian forms, we have Gigantamaxing forms. There's a lot of new stuff in this game. And that's on top of it just being a new Pokemon game in a new region. And also the first proper HD Pokemon, unless we count Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu. So, yeah, it's not the most ambitious game, but I'm really feeling this, and I can't wait to see even more brand new Pokemon.
Pokemon and ambition have never gone hand in hand. Never.
No.
It's the whole reason they were able to get Kanto in Gen 2 was just because of Iwata's amazing programming skills. That would not have been a thing otherwise. Right. So, yeah, never expect ambition out of a Pokemon title. Good, solid design, yes, but ambition that really pushes the series forward, no.
If you want ambition, get Dragon Quest.
You should get Dragon Quest anyway. That'll hold you over until Pokemon comes out. But yeah, any other thoughts on what we saw with this new trailer?
I think the human characters need more appreciation, because every single human character so far has just been so fun, and they're all full of life too. They're all really diverse as well. If you look at the website right now, they are full of different colours. It's not just a bunch of white NPCs. So it's great to see this amount of diversity in Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these are really solid designs, and I'm curious where they're all going to go. What form they will take as you go along. Like, it's cool to have a big cast like this that you can interact with and maybe provide more of a story. But, alright, I think that covers it for our Pokemon Sword and Shield discussion, so thank you for watching, and if you liked this video, be sure to like us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain. And of course, make sure to subscribe to GameXplain for more on Pokemon, including my upcoming analysis, and other things gaming as well. Until next time, bye.